Hello, my name is Isaac Woolsey. You may have seen my comedy videos because, I'm the autistic comedian and I'm really appreciative that you would like them and listen to me because, throughout my life I've dealt with many challenges. I was first diagnosed with high functioning autism when I was 3 years old. And when I was 3 years old, I had trouble talking. I would repeat the last thing of what people said. And that's kind of how it was. Then, as I grew up, as a way of therapy, my mother, bless her soul and heart, would teach me jokes, and I became really good at memorizing those jokes, and I'd repeat them again. I eventually didn't learn how to talk, and I would talk my head off, and it took me a lot longer to read, tie my shoe, and ride a bike. One of the reasons why I hated did that show on Nick Jr. about the talking turtle, because I was jealous. I couldn't zip zippers or button buttons, but now I can. And I'm not very good at video editing, as you can tell, but I'm aware. But anyway, going back, I eventually graduated from high school. I made A's and B's through school because I was very smart. Well, I wouldn't really say smart, but hardworking. I was always told that it's not about smarts, it's about hardworking. And I think that being hardworking is what we need more of. Because the harder you work, the less likely you feel alone. And that's what I did. I worked extra hard. I couldn't read till I was 8 years old. But by the time I was 10 or 11 years old, I had a advanced college reading level. And spoiler alert for Of Mice and Men, Lenny dies. And yes, that's why I think that everyone needs to learn to read and learn to laugh at themselves. And that's what I've planned to do. And I'm very happy for that. And you need a community to help people. I am against, I see a lot of people on YouTube who are like mental health advocates, supposedly, and they give really bad advice. Like, I've heard them say, oh, you all need to be on drugs. Which, medications isn't bad. You just shouldn't use it to alter your mind. Because I think your mind is a great gift. And drugs sometimes can alter that. Drugs are supposed to be, able to temporarily fix things. But, I personally am against being forced to put on drugs when you don't want to. And I see a lot of mental health advocates say that you need to be on drugs even if you don't want or need to. I think it has to be your decision, not some doctor or guy in a lab coats. Because doctors have caused all kinds of problems, okay? We shouldn't just trust everyone. They did for one, about less than 100 years ago, they thought that if you had the flu, you should be drained of your blood. And they also said um, that if you had an infection, you should put sugar in your wound. And these aren't weird conspiracy theories. This really happened. So just don't be too trusting of doctors. And I'm also against people being forced to get helped, like being involuntarily committed. I think that's against people's civil rights, because that is just wrong. I have been involuntarily committed, and it never helps. It never works. Because what they don't mention is a lot of times if you have mental illness, because I have major depression and general anxiety. But I think that won't really work. I mean, it never cured me. If anything, it caused more stress. They would just keep wanting to put me on drugs because I was unique. You know? I'm not a great person or a saint. I have issues, and I recognize that, but I think you need to want to get help. If you see someone on the street crying and they tell you to go away, you should go away. It's none of your business. And that's what I see a lot of mental health advocates do. And I mean, I look out for myself, okay? But I just want whoever wants to listen can listen. Because I'm a human being. Okay? You shouldn't just trust a doctor. I mean, you have to take their words with a grain of salt. Because not a lot of doctors are trustworthy. And during this, because at the time of recording it, there's the COVID-19 thing, and I hear a lot of doctors giving some very bad advice. Because it's like, we shouldn't just put our trust in them. Okay? They're not God. They're not even scientific experts or anything. They just went to school for too darn long. And they a lot of times take what I call bribes, but certain medication companies, this is true, not conspiracy theory, I've seen it before. You'll see, like, if you ever go to a doctor's office, a gentleman in a suit and tie with, like, either a briefcase or a clipboard. That is a representative from a major med company, and they are trying to have the doctors prescribe their brand of drugs. Now, they don't bribe them with money. A lot of times they give them free lunch, or they say, we'll give you a vacation, which I think is a conflict of interest. And the AMA and the APA is perfectly okay with that. Now, I'm not saying, oh, you need to go do miracle cures or essential oils or any of that stuff. Go to a doctor if you're sick, get vaccinated. I'm also for vaccines. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But don't just go to a doctor. Go to a doctor if you really, really need it. Because not all doctors, doctors want to get paid. It's a business. Okay? I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little business, but just keep that in mind, that doctors aren't looking out for you. They're looking out for the almighty dollar. And I just want to let people know that during this COVID-19, to just don't be gullible. Because that doesn't make you smart listening to someone who's an expert, because there's a lot of people who run around saying they're experts, like snake oil salesmen and stuff. So be wise and don't fall for their tricks. Thank you.